Hello YouTube, and we have a YouTube exclusive, one of our bio leagues, which has just been launched here on the channel. You can find the link down below if you're interested. Now, who bought this league? It's Hoodwinked and Sam. Thank you both for contributing to the stream. Now, what are we playing though? Well, at least they gave me some red. It's Jeskai Control, a bit of an older list and seeing how it plays in the current meta. Let's take a look and let's see what this 75 looks like. Here we are, Jeskai Control. This is our list. We're taking a look at it and taking it in. It's definitely an interesting list, and we're not going to change anything. That's the point of the bio league, so that we can play exactly what people post. But we will give our thoughts on some of the card choices, and maybe at the end of the video we can talk about maybe what we think should be replaced. We may even do some of that here. Now we have 25 lands, ignore the 2 here. We've just moved these up so that you can see all the cards, Steam Vents and Sulfur Falls. But we have a 25 land control list in the Jeskai colors, having Lightning Bolts, Helixes as your splash for red, and then it's pretty much a blue-white list, having a Teferi Jace plan here, but occasionally you're going to do Celestial Colonnade, plus probably Snap, Bolt, Bolt, Snap, all that good stuff. Now what's interesting to me is that we're splashing red for Lightning Bolt, which is a good removal, and Helix, which is good for gaining some life. However, we've also got a set of boils here in the sideboard, and this one's got me a little puzzled. That's alright though, we'll see if it works out for us. The other thing that although I have down below me the art of the Triome is not present in this list. We figured we'd just use the Jeskai Triome as a nice little art piece there. Interesting list. We've got a Verdict in here. We've got an Ashiok, a bunch of little one-ofs here at the top part of this sideboard here with Ceremonious Rejections and Timely Reinforcements. We have some Mystical Disputes down here as well. A little interested to see, say, a Mystical Dispute instead of, say, Dovin Veto, because we are in blue-white. That being said, the white splash and the red splash are actually very light here. White's for Path and basically the Teferis, along with Helix, and Helix splashes the red. So maybe the boil makes sense here. Now there's no Cleansing Wildfires either, which would be nice against, say, Tron. We do have a Ceremonious Rejection here. So in general, it looks like we're going to be doing something like Field and or Ceremonious Rejection, maybe Cryptic Command, and countering their spells. You can get this vibe that this one's a little bit of an older list, but what's beautiful about Magic and what the current state of the meta is right now is that I think older lists have a shot. I actually like the one of Surgical here. We'll see if that comes into play. Been seeing a little bit of Mill lately, although while watching some Twitch earlier today, I saw 4 or 5 people playing Inverter for some reason. Maybe we'll get them. This is Jeskai Control though from Hoodwinked and Sam here on the YouTube channel. Thank you once again, both of you, and let's get into our league. Let's queue up, find our first opponent here. I'm excited to fling some counter spells here. It'll be very interesting to see where we have this like Roman and Mana Leak, but we don't have too much at 2 or less for the counter spells. We really have it at 3 and 4. We also have notably no Archmage Charm, which is a very popular counter spell. We are Jeskai though, and Jeskai typically gets into that red to be a little more aggressive. So thank you for giving me that red, and let's see how it works out for us. Our first opponent here is New Medicine, getting the die roll here, and we'll probably be playing second. Not bad. Don't mind taking the draw. All right, opening hand seems reasonable. We don't have the red. We don't have a fetch. We've been hello, Mr. Streamer, hello. It's a Lurrus opponent, a very nice Lurrus opponent. That means we probably want some removal. The Mana Leak looks like it may be reasonable here. We could get Thoughtseize, could force the Thougtseize and make it interesting. I'm going to go ahead and keep here. I'm a little worried about not having the fetch land for this Helix, but I do like that I can Mana Leak, force maybe a Thoughtseize, and maybe counter a couple of the initial things that my opponent's doing. And every now and then when one of you finds me in the leagues, you all ask me, am I on stream? Not this time. YouTube exclusive though. New medicine will figure it out. Blood Crypt Shocking off of the Bloodstained Mire here. We have a Thoughtseize. We'll just let that roll off here. Not really planning to counter or force anything. If they'd like to take the force, that's fine. I really don't want to pitch Jace or Mana Leak to this Thoughtseize. I'd rather them just take the Mana Leak. We could have forced it with the Mana Leak so they don't know what we have, but I don't think that's really worth our while here. Bobble, Thoughtseize, Luris. Let's go. Take the draw for them. Would have been funny to force that. Not sure it would have been totally worth it. We'll leave off the F6 button from here on out. See what my opponent draws here. We can get rid of this stop. That's for a different list. All right. Do like a Snapcaster Mana Leak down the road here. Not slamming a creature here makes me believe that they have something like Scourge. They may also have a Death Shadow. Apparently my opponent's missed a land drop. That's beneficial for us. No need to show them the Field of Ruin here. We'll just play down past the turn. Field of Ruin is a way for us to get our red mana. I believe we have some mountains in the list. My opponent's found their own swamp here. There's a Kroxa. Interesting. I could just get rid of the Helix. I could just get rid of the Force too. I mean, what's the Force going to be really doing here? I guess it stops a, it would stop a future Thoughtseize, but I don't think I'm too worried about that. They didn't fire one off last turn. Looking decent here. Colonnade would be a nice one to play down. I think I'm going to do my field so that I can get red mana here. I will wait till end step to do this, just in case I need to throw Snapcaster down or something else here. Steam Vents. All right, we're Grixis of all colors here. Oh. Oh. We have the perfect pet. It's a sprite dragon. I like the art. This does put us to 19. I almost want to activate field to encourage them to play a Scourge here if they have it. Let's go ahead and do this now and try to take them off of blue. Again, doing this to encourage them to play Scourge. We have the Helix here. I don't think we're in too much trouble doing this now. This is intentional. There's our mountain. They get a mountain, and they just go to the end step. All right. Got a little bit of opt action plus Helix. Probably safe to opt first just to see what we're going to draw. Could opt later after playing Jace. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll need a fetch land in order to do Kroxa. And I can always bounce it or something. So that's probably fine. Let's go ahead and just hit the perfect pet here with the Helix. Go back up to 22. I don't imagine they have 3 spells they can fire off here with black and red showing. This does give them what they need for Kroxa here. Probably an easy opt and then just bounce Kroxa if they do have that 4th land. We can just ditch the island here. A Dreadhorde Arcanist is a bit of an interesting one. We could snap Helix that. Let's go ahead and opt. We could path it as well. I'm not sure I want a path here. Though I could take a path, snap Helix, leave path open for Kroxa. Yeah, that's probably okay. Let's go ahead and put this on top. There's a Bolt. Bolt might just be better for the Arcanist instead. We can even snap bolt if they play Kroxa pre-combat, snap bolt and path this. Let's see if they want to go to combat. It'd be great to just bolt, snap, bolt too. Can't quite do that because we don't have enough red. One of the places where we're struggling, although we haven't seen a fetch land, interesting enough. If we bolt and then later snap and bolt or snap and helix, we'd even snap helix, do 3. This does 3. That puts them to 7. This is putting them to 4. Maybe not lethal. Looking to trade back the turn here. We're at beginning of combat step. You may have your turn back, opponent. You may have it back. I don't want it anymore. I'm a blue mage. I don't know, if we see Kroxa, do we just like pitch Jace here? Snap Helix. Definitely not going to let this probably attack us. I don't think... It might be just Snapcaster and Helix this. It's the most mana efficient thing we can do here. Let's go ahead and try it. If my opponent's able to get rid of the Helix with, like, say, Cling, I can still bolt that. Let's attempt a Helix here. Helix gains me some life, too. It's nice. So, Helix. See if this resolves. Should. My opponent could have some blue cards. We did see the Perfect Pet, but they could have things like Stubborn Denial as well. It's not out of the realm of possibilities here. We're going to Fatal Push my Snapcaster. That seems fine. Okay. That looks like that's the turn. All right. Well, should we just Jace? If I Narset, I could bolt and path. Kind of just want to throw down a Jace here. Just throw down Jace. Let's 0 and maybe even uptick. They might have bolt. If I uptick, what am I getting rid of? Do I give them the land? Give them the land, throw away the bolt, path this. You know what? Here. Let's get out of bolt range. Let's take a look at the top of the library. It's a polluted delta. Let's go no, given the polluted delta. You can have it. I have the path for the Kroxa. There's bolt number 1. Do we have a bolt number 2? We have double bolts. Okay. Seems fine to me. They're going to get this polluted delta. Probably going to be playing the Kroxa for the turn. We'll path the Kroxa. We'll get rid of, I think, bolt because Narset just digs me deeper. The bolt's okay to pitch here in case I find a new Snapcaster. All right. Serum Visions is the choice here. Okay. I'm a little surprised that they don't go for this Kroxa, but I am leaving up, I guess. Path mana. There's Death Shadow. Death Shadow's only a 3/3. I don't need to path this, actually. I could attempt to bolt this. If I do bolt it, they get it later with Aluris, maybe. Oh, there's a Helix. Now I'm getting to the point where I might just like try to end them with damage upstairs here. See what else we can find with the Narset. Oh, Surgical's kind of interesting. Surgical gets rid of the Kroxa, which is a bit of a problem card for us. We'll set it on their draw step. And then I can double check and I can see if I want to kill the Death Shadow or not. Here in the draw step. Let's go ahead and get rid of this Kroxa though. Happy to do this. Let's see what else you got, opponent. Alright, we only had 2 Kroxas in the list. We got some Unearths, that's good to know. Serum Visions, Steam Vents. They could shock in. Kind of makes me just want to go ahead and bolt this out of the way. What else do we have here? Arcanists, more Death Shadows, more Perfect Pets. Thought Scours, Thought Seizes. Okay. Nothing too worrisome here. We'll say okay to this. If they were to play this in and shock it in, that puts them to 8. This puts them to 2. I can path this. Let's go ahead and just give them the chance to shock in here. Perfect. We'll let them go combat here. It's totally fine. Goes after Narset. We'll path. And now I have 6 damage upstairs, and they've got just a Serum Visions. And they can't draw here with the Narset out, so that's looking really good. Oh, they get the Scry too. Gets the Scry too. Looks good to me. They scry both cards to the top, so we need a way to kind of win this game quickly. May just be attack with Colonnade and just go face here. I'm gonna put Luris to hand. It seems okay so far. Cryptic Command's pretty nice. Let's go digging. Spell Snare or Teferi. I could just do Teferi, right? Like we just Teferi, right? Just uptick and then have Helix. Got some cryptics here. One, two, three, 4. We don't have 5 mana just yet to activate this, so Helix and Bolting isn't really in the game plan just yet. Though I might go ahead and fire one of these off upstairs here. My opponent really probably doesn't want to Thoughtseize right now. They could get back the perfect pet here and hit the Narset. Not so worried about that. We have what, 3 mana here? Ooh, little unearth action. All right. That's fine. Now they can play Luris here and a 2-drop as well. This is looking sketchy, but I don't think it really is, honestly. I'm going to throw Helix upstairs and see if we can find the last piece, and if not, we'll Cryptic tap down for a little bit. A little bobble here. Let's go ahead and Helix upstairs. I guess Snapcaster doesn't quite do it. We'd actually need red mana, but we can do that with the Teferi. It's an opt. Let's draw first. Another opt. Let's opt. Hallowed Fountain I don't want. Bottom. Let's go ahead and Flooded Strand. We can now get the red mana we need, which we'll go ahead and do that. Get a Steam Vents. We'll shock it in here. I'm gonna opt one more time. Bottom Scalding Tarn. Okay. We really have this probably won here. I'm just going to pass the turn. We can tap down with Cryptic Command here. Just tap and draw probably. And then we can look to bolt. Go again with Teferi. I really don't see us losing this. There's a Death Shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Counter. Let's just tap and draw. Let's wait until combat. They could play the hasty creature. That's fine too. We just don't want them gaining life here, really. Taking a look at what they're drawing. If I'm worried about, let's go ahead and tap draw. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt. If we're worried about, well, we're not worried anymore. We're just gonna lightning bolt, and then in response to the bobble here, we can Helix so that they don't have the Stubborn Denial. And I don't recall them having or not having the Stubborn Denial in the list. I should have looked a little bit closer. Well, there you go. All right, so we got there. Hallowed Fountain would have been the draw. Uptick here would have drawn this. We could have tapped and drawn a path. But we definitely needed that helix that we did, and we got there. Okay. Good start. Good start. Supreme Verdict seems like a reasonable one against our lovely opponent. Celestial Purge seems pretty hot here as well. Aether Gust hits about half of their stuff, maybe worth it, and Rest in Peace doesn't look too bad. Don't want Boils here. Timely Reinforce is a maybe, and Ashiok is a maybe. So we care about kind of right to left here. Force of Negation is going to hit what? Thoughtseize, maybe a Stubborn Denial, and more than likely an Inquisition. So I think that one's an easy takeout here. I like my paths, ops. Spell Snare is interesting. They have kind of enough 2-drops that I think I'm going to keep that. Surgical is okay. Lightning Helix is okay. Keeping in mind my opponent does have something like Unearth. So 3 forces out. Let's start there. Supreme, Celestial. We may not care about the Rest in Peace as much. We did see Croc, so we did see Unearth. We did see Luris. We may actually prefer to have one of Ashiok over Rest in Peace. But then again, the Rest in Peace maybe isn't too bad, and we just like don't worry about having like Snapcaster or maybe the Surgicals replaced with that. That would make Luris not very interesting, Dreadhorde Arcanist not very interesting, Unearth not very interesting. Makes our Snapcaster a little bit less interesting, but we can always beat them down with like Colonnade, Snapcaster beats, or just beat them out with the Jace. Kind of liking this Surgical out. Let's get both Rest in Peace in here. And if I'm doing both Rest in Peace, I think I can maybe take one Remand out here. Remand could probably be an Aether Gust. What else isn't very good here? Narset digs Supreme Verdict. We like that. Teferi's a bit of a tempo play. I suppose it's at least worth considering here. Let's, in KO Diamond's fashion, side out a Lightning Bolt, because I think I've got better things here. I would love to have this Ashiok. I think it's better than maybe one of these, but I think it's also maybe overkill with the Rest in Peace. Let's leave it at home. Let's go. Let's go. We're leaving Ashiok at home. We were on the draw as well. Well, it's a lot of removal. I don't think I'm disappointed in it. We'll get what? Steam Vents, Hallowed Fountain, or something like that. So we have all of our colors. This is a good example where you would like to have something like the Triome, and then you could fetch that so you kind of have all your colors online. I don't think they're going to be Blood Mooning-y, but we'll see. Opponent starts with an Inquisition and sees the hand is completely loaded with removal. Good luck. We didn't see Scourge, so the Helixes are maybe not as interesting as the Bolt for what we did side out, but the Helix gains us some life, so you know, there is that. Scalding Tarn and pass the turn. Nothing crazy happening thus far. My opponent knows about the Snapcaster as the Bobble did hit us, I believe. Yes, they did. All right, they just Thoughtseize us again. Maybe take Snapcaster at this point. And does so. We'll see if they have their second land here or if they're stumbling on lands again. It does look like they're stumbling. So let's go ahead and get a Steam Vents. We're going to probably get a Hallowed Fountain next. It's a good draw. Going to need a little more white for that to be an option. We definitely can get that with the Field of Ruin. Gonna just play at our own casual pace here. No reason to fire everything off at my opponent. They are a Death Shadow list. We'll play with our life totals carefully here. Did they find that land? I hope they did. We need to make a game of this, game 2. Thoughtseize. Supreme Verdict's gonna go away here. Gonna go get the Hallowed Fountain, so I'm making more blue. We need that blue for Cryptic Commands, Narsets, and Jaces. I don't see any reason why they do not take this Supreme Verdict. Oh, they take a Helix. Maybe this is so that they can take a lot of damage. I don't know. They could also fetch appropriately so that I don't get the white off the field here. I don't know if that's the correct line, though. I would think I would take a Supreme Verdict, but Not a Death Shadow player. All right, a little Snapcaster here. We can snap bolts. We got a path as an option. I could snap in and path my own Snapcaster, so I have Supreme Verdict online. Could see them get a basic here to keep the Field of Ruin from doing its thing, and they do. I like that fetch. Keeps their life total a little bit high, and that's not a bad idea considering I have things like Lightning Bolt and Helix. Another Thoughtseize here. I think I'd like to go ahead and commit to the board here a little bit. Let's go ahead and Snapcaster. I want a Snapcaster Path, but Snapcaster Bolt seems okay, and they've already used their black mana here. I think we need to turn on the afterburners here. I'm going to just go ahead and bolt them here and just give them the turn to do the Thoughtseize and things that they want to do. Do you take Supreme Verdict, or now do you take the Helix because I'm pressuring with a Snapcaster? They might have their own bolts. They end up taking the path, interestingly enough. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and attack here. This signals that they probably have Death Shadow. We have back-to-back Helixes, though. Back-to-back Helixes. That would put them to 2. Is it just one Death Shadow? Oh, there's a Polluted Delta. Do we get a basic here? Trixie. Trixie. A lot of this burn's helping in this first match here. Opponent wants to take a lot of damage. There's a fetch. I can't imagine that it's a shock, but maybe it will be. They know about one Helix. They don't know about the second one, I think. Watery Grave Shock. We're going to play a Death Shadow here. I'm going to go ahead and Helix them. Make things interesting. This is playing around Stubborn Denial. 2 to 21. That's a big Death Shadow you got there, opponent. Oh my gosh, they play the Arcanist down as well. We'll go ahead and set the stop here so that they know I had it. No, I did not top deck it. Upkeep. And Helix, yeah. Good games, opponent. Good games. We ended up top decking that the last one. GG's. They gave us the GG's as well. All right, hitting a few lands there. Not bad. It's a good start. So it's good we had a little bit of red, although blue-white would have been probably fine as well. 1-0. We'll see you in the next one. 1-0 here. Good start. Good list. A little bit of a spotty on the different items, but hey, having that reach and the Snapcasters and the bolts worked just fine. Didn't really drop really below 20 either too much there. Good start. Let's find opponent number 2 here. I wonder if I'm ever going to use these 2 boils. Next opponent, match 2, coming up next. And there we go. Not too long, not too long. Let's begin. All right, we do get the draw, it looks like, again. We both rolled a 1 and then they rolled a 6 and I rolled a 5. My opponent's playing a 62 card list. 2 test cards, I imagine. Opening hand looks fine, and it is a Luris list again. Let's go. Maybe another Death Shadow. Can we go 2 for 2? Basic. Inquisition. Go ahead. Look at this list. Now, they may be playing Scourge. If they're playing Scourge here, our fetches are a little bit awkward. We'll just have to find out. Ends up taking Teferi here, leaving me with 1,001 bolts. We'll wait to do any of these bolts. We don't mind trying to remove some creatures here. Scalding Tarn for my opponent. Follows up with another Inquisition. Now they see that we have an extra bolt here. Takes a Helix. That to me indicates that they might have Scourge. We're not going to fetch here. We're just going to hang out. Just going to hang out. We'll let them try to do damage to us first. Bobble. No counters for that. I will end up fetching here at end step. Now that I have a Spell Snare. We have a Polluted Delta for them. Watery Grave. Okay. Basic Island. No red so far. Puts Luris to hand. Alright, let's go ahead and Scalding Tarn for Steam Vents. And let's go get a Hallowed Fountain again. I say that, I've got a lot of red. You know what? Let's get a Sacred Foundry. This is where I wish I had the Triome. I'd feel a little bit better about it. Bobble here. Top of the library for us is a an unknown. We'll never know. Stuck in the bobble loop. Guess we're gonna be doing that Rest in Peace again. I don't know. Black and blue might be able to counter Rest in Peace. Path. Path's not a bad one to find here. Could easily Path. Can Field of Ruin and Spell Snare as well. That's probably what I'd like to do. Inquisitions again. All right. I hope you know that I have a million ways to kill your Luris. Takes the Path here. Let's go ahead and use this to get more blue probably at this point. Even though I have a lot of bolts here, having some blue isn't a bad idea. Mountain gives me the ability to triple bolt my opponent. Down to 15 they go. Are they going to pick up any red mana here? They need black now for the swamp and the Luris. They do get that, and it is red mana. So we do have red. Looks like they don't have a basic mountain, or they preferred to have double island for some reason. This is probably Luris here. Okay, has to resolve. They'll do probably Bobble. I'm just going to attempt to bolt this. No reason for that to stick around for longer than basically a 3-mana draw one. 3-mana draw one, make us discard. That's what that turned into. I'm not going to send everything upstairs just yet. Fear of a Death Shadow. I think we win the long game a lot better. Spell Snares are good for Scourges, because Scourges are difficult for us to kill. Your move, opponent. Extra Bobble here. Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Well, rather not bolt it. Let's just Spell Snare it. That seemed good. What else? I think they knew about the Spell Snare. They may not know about the second one. Bobble. Play our land, pass the turn. Now we have plenty of lands here in our 25 land list. Let's see if we can find some action. 2-drop. I think if it's another... Ooh, it's a Valky. They get to see my list, but if I Spell Snare, they know about the 2 bolts anyway. I think I just let this resolve, and then I'll probably just bolt it at end step and leave the Spell Snare for a Scourge. It's a bolt not going upstairs at this point, but I don't think we are pressured to be, again, killing them here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Could be leaving up this instead. I have a feeling we have a Spell Snare. Oh, shoot. That is a punt. Well, never mind. We only have 2 blue. What am I talking about? Put down your... Oh, now I have the blue. Put down your pitchforks. I only had 2 blue. I knew what I was doing. New Jace. New Jace. I'll probably wait here, draw the card, maybe bolt this. Here we go, here we go. All right. Now we can do it correctly. Jace. Draw some cards. I'm not worried about bolt here. Surgical is interesting. Surgical is interesting because I could check the hand, but I also take damage. Let's just give myself an opt here, and let's go ahead and bolt their Jace and pass the turn back to them. They'll bolt our Jace. Fine by us. I will attempt to opt here just to see if I can get a spell snare out of here. We can go ahead and put the colonnade on top because that's going to be something that can attack. And I don't know if I really want to use a surgical. I could. I think I'll wait until I can spell snare like a Scourge or something. The Serum Visions. We're at the point where we might be just getting ready to attack with Colonnade. Like I said, I think the longer this game goes, the better we're suited here. Just play our land, pass the turn. There's a Watery Grave. They do shock this in. So here we go. We're getting closer to a Death Shadow being a thing. Let's go ahead and opt. That looks like a great Planeswalker. Let's go ahead. I wonder if this is worth the surgical on, like, say, the Drown the Lock here. Check the hand. If I do that, my opponent could have Scourges. They haven't played them at this point. They know I have one spell snare. Let's try to take this Drown the Lock and check the hand, see what we're playing against at this point. It seems long that they haven't done anything. Oh, and this explains why. All right, we do have an Archmage Charm and a Cryptic Command, so my opponent's actually a little more, shall we say, control than I thought. Okay. All right, so we need to play a longer game with my opponent here, even longer than I thought. A couple Creeping Tar Pits here, some Fatal Pushes we need to be aware of, Archmage and Cryptic Command. Really, we just have Valky that we're worried about, and more on the other side of Valky at this point. We got some Snapcasters, some K commands. Double Dreadbore is really rough. My opponent can play this Cryptic Command. Okay, interesting. Well, I think I'll wait until I have a counter spell of my own at this point. And I could Colonnade here. It just dies to a Fatal Push. Let's just wait. A little bit of draw, 2 cards. It's really good for them. No Archmage Charm anymore. Sulfur Falls. Just pass the turn back until we can kind of defend Teferi a little bit. They have a Cryptic, Dreadbore. It's not like we're going to be defending it that much. Bolts me. Spell Snare can at least get rid of one of the Dreadbores. Let's go ahead and fetch. Get rid of the Hallowed Fountain here. It's a path. Let's go ahead and wait. Got like a Snapcaster here. K command to pick up Luris. Not a whole lot I can do. Discarding a card. I need the path for removal. I suppose I can get rid of the Spell Snare. K command's really good to rebuy the Luris, so they're going to use a lot of their graveyard because they also have Jace. So Rest in Peace definitely looking really, really strong here. I will attempt to path this. And I see little reason to wait here. They have Archmage Charm, they have Archmage Charm. Then they'll burn it, and then I can play Teferi. The other thing is I can attack, but I need to get rid of the Luris. Will Jeskai prevail over the Grixis player playing a little bit of Luris here? It was interesting that they had it as a companion as well. Having it as a companion but using Valky in the Tybalt flip side as a way to get around Luris's companion requirements. I like it. I like it. Opponent's really considering this. They logic not for 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dang. Dang. Got knotted. So far they have Cryptic, Double Dreadbore, and Fatal Pushes still. Opponent draws here, leaving themselves a Fatal Push open. Let's go ahead and attempt to Helix Luris. I'm probably not getting much better value here with the Teferi. Just getting to draw with it is probably... Whoa, go away. Okay, and if I hit something interesting like a Mana Leak, at least I can make things a bit interesting on their side. If they have to Dreadbore, I could attempt Mana Leak, but I don't think we're getting that far. This is our only Teferi. I like the idea of trying a Mana Leak here, just to see if they pay or whatever. They'll probably leave black open so the Colonnade doesn't hit them, but it at least uses their resources. And they do pay. 1 Dreadbore down. Extra Steam Vents here. Does shock it in. There's a Cryptic command. Would have waited a little longer. Maybe we'd have this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. An attempt to attack, but then we lose the Colonnade and lose Cryptic. We'll just pass. We need to build up our supply of cards here again. It's not like my opponent's threatening to kill us here. Serum Visions. As soon as they find their Snapcasters, they're good. If we find ours, we're actually not in a great spot because of their Fatal Pushes. I can just kind of get rid of our Snapcasters. There's one of them. We do have the ability to Cryptic, Snap, Mana Leak right now. There's Valky. Let's go Snapcaster or maybe Spell Snare. See if they want to interact with this Snapcaster. Just getting it out of hand is important anyway. Okay. Could Surgical Doloris away again. Kind of like attempting to Spell Snare and play even a longer game than going aggressive. Spell Snare to try to hit the Valky here. Whack. This probably gets the Cryptic command. Fatal Pushes. Okay. Valky dies. So that's 1 Fatal Push down. Scalding Tarn here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, attacking with Colonnade, we lose. Let's go ahead and hold Scalding Tarn. Make it look like I have a double spell now. Running out of those lands. There's Snapcaster. Alright. Snapcaster what? Archmage Charm? Serum Visions. Okay. Seems alright. We only have 1 more Helix in the list, but we have 3 Snapcasters. Let's make it happen, right? Force is interesting. I can Cryptic and Force. My opponent can attack me for 2. I'm going to hold Scalding Tarn for a pitch. Snapcaster here. This one might be worth countering. I hate to say. They have Dreadbore, Fatal Push, and Cryptic Command and 2 unknowns. Let's attempt to counter draw here to get deeper into the list, and we can also back up Force and Negation here. An extra Snapcaster here is a lot of damage, so I don't want to prevent that if I can. They're going to use a Logic Knot here, and they're going to get rid of some of their graveyard to do this, and I'll force the Logic Knot so I draw the card and get rid of the Snapcaster. Unfortunately, a lot of this is happening on my turn. But at some point we had to try to prevent some of this. Let's rebuying their Logic Knot here, using a different set of cards here. Which cards? Those cards? Those cards. Let's go ahead and Logic countered. Cryptic. We do draw. We don't draw a very good card at this point in the game. I don't see where a Boil would come in here, but maybe we do play the Boil for fun. I don't know. Tough to say. Let's go ahead and boot up a Colonnade finally and go ahead and attack them. See if they want to interact with this. I have 2 cards I haven't put down here. They do Fatal Push. We'll just pass the turn. We can't have 6 at any point. We don't want to give them the hint that we have nothing. We'll just pass the turn to us. We'll just pass. Again, holding everything we have here. It may just look like I've got 3 counter spells and they just start doing the Snapcaster smacking us. We know they have a Cryptic Command left and they also have a Dreadbore, so our creatures aren't very likely to stick here. Kolaghan's Command. Pitching a land here is not a good thing. They end up picking up a Snapcaster. Snapcaster Lightning Bolt here. They could even K-Command again. K-Command, make us discard, pick up Luris. At this point, I think we've lost. This is nifty because they can use this to make us discard a whole bunch of things and check what we have. They did get that Luris here. They have Creeping Tar Pit now. Lot of value out of their graveyard. We need to try not to use our graveyard so much. Luris played here, getting hit for 4. They have Cryptic online. Using Bobble here as well. Pretty confident we can go ahead and scoop these up. Even if we top deck a removal, it's not going to be Supreme Verdict because that's here. Okay. Well, Dispel seems interesting. My opponent has a Luris, but not much else. I guess they have Valky, which maybe makes the Purge a little bit interesting. Mystical Dispute seems fine as well. Supreme Verdict's a maybe. Ashiok and Rest in Peace, because they go for their graveyard a lot. Man, I can't do Boil, can I? Can I fetch in such a way that I won't get hurt by that? I mean, I could try. I could try. Let's see here. Paths can probably come out here. Surgical probably is an okay thing as well. I think Raman's not a bad idea considering I'm bringing other counter magic in. So that's 6 cards I'm interested in. 2 Rest in Peace, Dispel, Mystical Dispute seem like the first things. Purge here might be just a little bit better than, say, Spell Snare, because it can hit the opposite side of Valky, where this only hits the one side. This is getting to counter quite a few things, though, too. This is going to be a tough matchup. I don't have, like, an extra Teferi or something. This Teferi is pretty good. Hopefully we can land that. I don't think I need the Supreme Verdict. If anything, I think I want either Ashiok or Purge, and to me it's maybe Ashiok over like 1 Snapcaster, because I'm going to be going after the graveyard with Rest in Peace. My opponent also might attack our graveyard. Snapcaster, though, is the way to win. Maybe I just trim 1 Opt here and go, hey, I'm just going to have my hand full of good stuff. Beat it. I like having all the bolts and helixes. I do need a way to finish the game. I can't... If you're not bringing Boil in for the control matchup, I'm a little bit lost at what I would be doing with this. Let's assume that I can somehow get this Boil down. My opponent's got like K commands and bolts of their own. They're going to just remove our creatures. It's not like Boil's going to remove all of their stuff. So let's not Let's not try that. Again, my opponent was playing 62 cards here. Maybe we can get lucky that being on the play here will be our advantage that we need. Let's go. Probably want a hand with about 3 lands and some other stuff going on. This looks good. This looks great. I'm gonna just call an aid and put the Rest in Peace down, hopefully. Wonder if they can counter this Rest in Peace. Maybe I need to wait 1 turn so I can Dispel. Let's go and wait 1 turn because the Rest in Peace doesn't need to be an immediate thing I get down here. And that way I can Dispel. Can't quite force as well. Okay, so we have Colonnade. Let's go ahead and get a Steam Fence. Sulphur Falls seems okay here. Let's go ahead and put down Rest in Peace with this spell here. See if they care about this Rest in Peace. Resolves. All right. Nothing scary there, right? Makes our Snapcaster a little bit weaker. It's all right. Lightning Bolt's me. I guess I need to just take that. I just take that. We're getting close to just being able to Colonnade and save it with a Dispel. Might even throw a Snapcaster in here to start getting the beats on, since Snapcaster isn't great. Although force pitching Snapcaster is a thing right now. Serum Visions, I'll let them do this. Bottom and top of the scry. Blood Crypt here. Do they shock in? Do they not? They shock. All right. Well, Snapcaster. Let's get it on. Let's attack. All right. I think I get aggressive here, honestly. Like, let's... Oh, I can't. 1, 2, 3, 4. This takes 5. That's fine. Fetching's not the worst there. Make sure I don't have to fetch in response. Snapcaster's there. Let's go ahead and Mystical Dispute this so they don't have a creature in play. We got Dispels and Forces. That's not hitting much better here, if I'm honest. Three mana. We'll just Dispel this. Draw our land here. Can't quite Colonnade. We'll attack for 2 past turn. Being on the play is definitely a lot better in this matchup. Feeling more and more confident here. I'll let the Bauble resolve. It's just a redraw here. Force is better spent. Protecting Snapcaster or protecting Colonnade or me from a very scary thing they could do. Dreadbore's Snapcaster Mage. Really kind of tempted to force this. Let's get aggressive here. Let's just get forced. Get forced. I'm probably going to be attacking with this Colonnade this turn. Oh yeah. Let's get in there. I should do this before I attack. If they have the Fatal Push. All right. 4, 5, 6. Putting them to 5, maybe. Poorly timed there. Dispel the Drown the Lock. Still get in for 6. Pass the turn. All right. They have a Snapcaster to deal with in the Colonnade. Inquisition's away. My Snapcaster. I can't defend that Snapcaster. Another Dispel would be great. Let's attack with just the Snapcaster here and plan to play this Snapcaster plus the Colonnade attack. Looks like they have another Fatal Push here. Polluted Delta. Go ahead and slam down our Snapcaster Mage. We got to find a way to get this last 5 damage here. This opens up to a counterspell, but if they're doing counterspell like Cryptic, maybe they... Oh, they're going to return this. Okay, that's a tempo play. I like firing off here the Helix, putting them to 2. Good luck, opponent. They need an answer for Colonnade here. Going to 1. Could go get Luris. They can't put Luris to hand, though. Archmage's Charm to draw some cards. There's a Bobble. Bobble draws. Top of the library is a Plains. We'll boot up here and attack. Do they have the Fatal Push? We get there. All right. Getting aggressive with the list. I like this. This is what we need to be doing. Extra Colonnade coming as well. It's good. Rest in Peace. Maybe was doing something. Maybe not. Tough to say. Tough to say. So we saw a lot of aggressive things to get rid of Snapcaster. They didn't have much to go with the Rest in Peace, which is super nice. Don't know if it was too much or not. Wondering if the Ashiok is really needed here, or if that could be a Supreme Verdict or a random Boil. This Ashiok makes me a little bit nervous. I feel like I can do something better with like just a Remand, Opt, maybe even a Purge here for Valky. Extra removal for the Luris. Probably don't need that. Let's stick with the Ashiok. Let's stick with the Ashiok. Maybe I get it down on turn 3 and it messes them up with the fetch lands. You never know. A lot of Dispels and Mystical Disputes that last time. They worked well. We got them again. 2 lands. A little sketchy, but I think we can keep this. We are on the draw this time around. And this time we need to be defending ourselves with things like Mystical Disputes. Let's do a Scalding Tarn. Yeah. Opponent could Thoughtseize us. Not much we can do about that. We can stop this blue spell, though. Steam Vents here to get our red. I'm happy to stop a blue spell here. We'll take it. We'll just play tap land here and go. Make it look like I don't have much else. Mystical Dispute round 2 possibly here. May have to wait on Narset. We'll allow Serum Visions to resolve. Don't need to worry about that, I don't think. Need 1 more land. Maybe if they tap out, I try Narset. It gives them the chance to attack back with something, but Narset's pretty good. Blood Crypt here. Okay. Don't drown the lock mana. We hit our land. I think I just go for this. Counter if you've got your own Mystical Dispute. Narset going here. Ooh, Spell Snare or Rest in Peace? Let's take a Rest in Peace. We think that's a more powerful card here. We can Rest in Peace, Mystical Dispute. We can use Narset again. Opponent can't really draw an extra card. We're going to get an extra card off Narset, it looks like. Which looks really good for us. Teferi looks nice. I'd love to resolve this Teferi. Let's go for it. I have the Mystical Dispute here to back this up. If they have the Drown the Lock, it doesn't work right now. They have some blue spell here. We're going to counter that. I don't know if I'm supposed to bounce and draw. I think... Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. This could attack. If my opponent has a bolt, I think I'm going to go up here and pass. Creeping Tar Pit could be activated and attack here. They need a land and a bolt here. Bobble doesn't look like that. And if they want to draw some more cards, they got to get rid of this Narset. So they're going to boot up Creeping Tar Pit. I like it. And attacks, Narset. All right. So they can draw some more cards if they'd like to. Let's see here. Rest in Peace. Kind of want to do, kind of don't. Kind of just want to keep going up with Teferi here so that I can just play whatever I want. Let's go ahead and play a Jace here. And I think, let's go up, take a peek. Valky. Do I care about that? I can just bounce it. I'm gonna say no. They get to see my hand, but Valky's really not that scary here. They'll take one Snapcaster. That's not that frightening. If they do that, they're not attacking with Creeping Tar Pit, and they're also not getting this land. Oh, Dreadbore. Well, there goes Jace. Bye, Jace. There's a Snapcaster of their own. I mean, I guess if I use Jace to bounce that, that's a little silly, but you know. Okay. What are we doing here? Let's go ahead and actually bounce the Snapcaster here to draw an extra card. That's a pretty good draw. Now I can do... I don't want them to really snap, get this Dreadbore. I could snap Mystical Dispute in response. Let's just see what they want to do. I think having Teferi and having all the counter magic here, along with access to my graveyard right now for the Snapcasters, feels really powerful. My opponent's also down on one land here because of the Jace Fate Seal. We do know they have a Valky here, so if they end up doing Valky, I can always like Snapcaster and Mystical Dispute that, or just let it resolve. It's not the scariest thing. Got lots of options here. Opponent's got to worry about probably this Teferi. They'd like to get rid of it, and I have a Dispel for the Lightning Bolt, which keeps a Cryptic Command online. Looks pretty good here. All right, 3 mana. We do not have auto yields on. K command doesn't look that scary either. So we have a K command here. They're trying to get their Jace Vryn's Prodigy and make me discard a card. Wonder if this is the counter. This is the counter and draw. I could Snapcaster try to Mystical Dispute this. Let's do that. It's kind of aggressive here, but the Mystical Dispute is going to resolve. And then if they have no other land here, I've got an active Snapcaster. All right. That worked. We have a new Teferi. Let's just go up with this Teferi. I think I'm just going to attack and pass turn. We have another Snapcaster. We can interact with our opponent doing the same thing. It just feels pretty good here. So there's a Snapcaster of their own. What are we gonna just do? Snapcaster Dreadbore here. Let's just Snapcaster and Mystical Dispute again, and then I have a Dispel open. If my opponent has the red land, they can hit this as well. I think that's just what we had to do. We had the Teferi out. Counters to the Grixis, and we take it down. Rest in peace, ironically, we end up getting with the Narset, but we don't end up using it because our graveyard's so much more beneficial for our Snapcaster. Mystical Dispute, getting it done. I'm a little surprised. I kind of mentioned about maybe Dovin Veto, and I think we prefer the Dispute here. That's 2-0. Let's go to match number 3. Match number 3, looking for our next opponent. I don't think you're going to convert me into a blue mage anytime soon. Or maybe it's already always been there. Jeskai here. A control list. Bit of an older one. Getting it done so far. Interesting. Interesting. Goes to show you that sometimes you don't have to update to the latest thing. Let's go. Round 3 here. Let's play some Magic. By the way, I still disagree with these boils. Hoodwinked. Sam. Let's play first. All right, let's go ahead and keep. Seems reasonable. Colonnade. This is where you'd be like, boil's great here. Just go get that Sacred Foundry. Boil them. They'll never see it coming. That was the Colonnade is what I was clicking. Oh well. We'll play from here. We'll play from here. I don't think it'll hurt us. We have a bunch of 2-drops. Hey, look at this. Maybe I'll path something here. There's Temple Garden. Arbor. All right. Let's get a Steam Vents here. So we have the Helix online. And having drawn a second Helix here, let's just blast it and move on. Next up's probably this Colonnade. My opponent doesn't have anything to do. Colonnade down, go ahead. I've got this Remand, which is super nice, and this Helix. Does this sound and smell like Heliod combo? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. We're going to try to slow down that combo as much as possible. Extra Temple Garden here for our opponent. It smells like it. I don't know if it is, but it's scary. There it is. Let's go ahead and counter. A little spell snare to follow. Would like a harder counter here. We do not find it. Do not find it. Let's put the Field of Ruin down past the turn. All right, so we're going to have to deal with the Heliod here. Luckily, I've got a spell snare, I suppose. It's not the worst. Can counter some of the 2-drops that they have. Yeah, now you're going to be careful here. We'll just let that resolve because I got nothing else to do. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more mana for us. In this case, probably red. Having an extra red pip here wouldn't be bad. I have plenty of blue in hand already. Opponent gets the plains. Cryptic Command's a little bit late here, but it's not too bad. We have a lot of interaction for my opponent. Not too worried about them getting us here. We could also counter and bounce this at some point and maybe find another counter spell. Utopia Sprawl's Utopia Sprawl. Not going to counter that. Extra land here. Looks like my opponent has plenty of lands. We'll just play the slow game with our opponent. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Can't quite do Teferi here. We'll put shields down if we do that. Would rather be able to cryptic this collected company. Cryptic and then maybe bounce? I don't know. Ooh. They didn't fire it off. 3 mana Ranger Captain Eos. Counter bounce, perhaps? Good draw here. Let's do a counter draw. I have some interaction for 2-drops. Drawing deeper here. Just bouncing this, they replay it probably. Ranger here prevents things like Cryptic Command in the future. They could also use it like now and do something weird to us, and I don't like that option. Extra land's nice. I can definitely do it to Teferi. What are we gonna do here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 mana, I get the Spell Snare, leaving up a path. All right, they just give it back to me. Give it back to me. Well, let's go ahead and Teferi here. I have the ability to cast all of this. Let's go ahead and bounce Heliod here. No way, they don't have that card except in hand. We don't draw anything of value. Just pass. They've got to redo this. No collected company once again. Gonna rejam this big one out. No counter. All right. Now what? No follow-up. We'll go up here. We're going to go ahead and I think just Flooded Strand and pass the turn. I could maybe get to this point where I'm attacking, but I think I want to leave as much removal interaction as possible. I don't want to get infinite lifed here. That would be miserable. Slow and steady, right? That wins the race. Something like that. Extra land for my opponent. They haven't used these collected or horizon canopies at any point. All right. Well, I can't interact with this except for at the end step here. Let's see what Ranger does. Scary enough, they can stop me from countering here, and then they can just get infinite life. If they wait too long here, then I'm in good shape. I'd like to see this go to end step so I can at least get rid of this with the Helix. That is our game plan here. Walking Ballista has been found. If they have another land, they could kill me. I need them to pass. Back to me, please. Back to me. No land, back to me. Yes. All the way back. All the way back. There we go. All right. Easy Helix here on the Ranger. That way we can have things played at normal. Don't want this to be messing us up next turn here. They can't put a collected company either, so this is fine. And yeah, I'm losing a Helix here. It's not a big deal. Hallowed Fountain, wanting a little bit more blue here. Could have gotten red, I suppose, because we have this blue land. Up we go. All right, we have some counters. Counters and interaction, that's all we could ask for. Go ahead, opponent. Teferi's up to 3. Windswept Heath. Temple Garden. Will they use these Horizon Canopies? The answer is no. They want as much mana as physically possible here. Trying to play around Mana Leak. Skyclave. Gets rid of Teferi. Suppose we just gotta let that go. Maybe if they play a few more pips here, this will become active and I can path it. Goodbye, Teferi. Okay. Well, kind of like an R-set here. Just do that. Let's find some more awesome cards, like a Teferi. Do I slam this Teferi down here? I suppose I can. Just make sure we have the right stuff open. Teferi bounds Heliod again here. We have the Mana Leak to cover this. We have a Spell Snare plus Path. If I bounce here, I'm probably going to have to kill this. 1, 2, 3 is what they replay here. If I go up, we can then Helix and Path. Let's go up this turn. And we'll just pass it back here. I think going up here and then having Leak, Spell Snare, or Helix, Spell Snare, Helix, Path seems like the right line here. A long drawn out game. Looks like we're trying to put some mana into a Walking Ballista here. They do this and then go to use Heliod here. I'm going to Path and then Helix it. Or Helix Path, either way. Maybe Path first, because then they'll try to do it again, then I Helix. They attack here, I've just got to let it come through. There's 4 mana. Collected Company. This is rough. A lot of things could go real wrong here. If I mana leak this, they can pay for it right now. I think I just have to let this resolve. Once again, hoping they hit maybe enough white pips here. Heliod becomes active and I can path the Heliod. There's another Skyclave here, Conclaves here as well. This is my perfect window to hit the Heliod. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now while they can't interact with me. And now if they play another one, I have the mana leak. Maybe I can get them to concede out of frustration more than anything. Okay. So Skyclave number 2 hits this Teferi. Combat attack Narset for 2, puts to 1. This would be 4/8 over 2 turns. Be 12 over 3 turns with Helix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have this, which then gives me Mana Leak, Spell Snare, Mana Leak, Spell Snare, Helix. Kind of a grouping of them. Not a ton, though. Alright, Bolt makes me kind of just want to go for this as well. So let's go ahead and start attacking here. I'm going to leave up as much red mana to give me Helix plus Bolt. This flies over anyway, so this is 4 damage in past turn. We have a Helix, we have a Bolt, plus a Spell Snare seems pretty strong here. This Mana Leak's getting worse and worse. And if I can hit him for 6, that puts him to 5 and doesn't make Colonnade attack lethal just yet. Plus my opponent might have a way to gain life here. Opponent's going to go straight to combat here. I don't believe this is a place where I want to go ahead and kill one of these. I'd much rather just attack with Colonnade again. It looks like I have Cryptic Command open, and that's why they attacked first. I like that attack. Spike Feeder is annoying. It gains them life, but I can kind of deal with the Spike Feeder. So let's let it resolve. This is a problem. Let's go ahead in response here, Bolt Spike Feeder. Maybe they use mana to pass this over, and then I can mana leak. That's kind of the hope here, is maybe they'd like to pass some of this over. Then I can maybe get this. I don't know if they know about this mana leak. I don't think they've had any chances to see. Yes. See, they should just go all 4. So this is going to be pretty big, but I think mana leaking Heliod here is now more important. And this Bolt will kill Spike Feeder. They can go up a little bit more here, gaining up to 14. This does make this a 4/4. It's pretty large. Path beats it, though. I think we just boot up here again. I don't need all the red this time. Attack for 4 and pass turn. I may be pathing one of these, making a 3/3 plus helixing another one, and then it's blocking this. I don't know, maybe they will have interaction. We don't want to do that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll take 8. Go to 9. This is a close one. My opponent has yet to use those Horizon Canopies. Oh. Oh. Archangel. Well, that's a path target, if I've ever seen one. This walking ballista is still over there. It's still over there. I can do 4-7. I think I've gotta be on blocking defense now. Play the land past the turn. Looks like they might have us here. Taking down both my Teferis. Wooded Foothills. Walking Ballista, 2 unknowns. 5 mana, 6 mana. Walking Ballista here is pretty good. Has to resolve. I don't have anything for that. Let's go ahead and boot up here. See if they want to interact before blocking. Answer appears to be no. So we'll block. Do I need to kill one of these? I'm gonna let this resolve damage here. They gain life. Walking Ballista puts a counter on and then kills me. It's a problem. Alright. Play Jace. Jace bounce something? Brainstorm? What could I hit that I want? Path. Let's try to draw into something. This spell snare is really not that good anymore. All right. Play down the Narset, trying to find a path underneath that opt. Which we don't find. We'll get an opt here. Well, looks like they can beat us here. We'll just see how they decide to attack. They go straight to combat here. They do their thing. I'm going to go ahead and Helix to make a blocker here, but the Walking Ballista should just go up to 5 and ping me for 5 here. We'll see if they do that. It looks like we're going to be going to game number 2. Got to beat a combo list. Got to beat a combo list. Supreme Verdict rejection might be a thing. Ashiok's probably decent. Maybe Aether Gust for some of the green spells. We'll find out. We'll find out. Supreme, Ashiok definitely look like possibilities here. Ceremonious rejection, maybe. Aether Gust. Rest in Peace doesn't matter that much. Celestial Purge isn't hitting things. This is going to be a tough one. Going to be a tough one. Force of Negation can probably just be taken out totally here. And I don't mind the Surgical as an option to get rid of a combo piece if we get to counter it. So we'll leave that. I want all this removal. I think we'll just take one opt out. Spell Snare can hit some stuff. We'll definitely keep it. Ashiok prevents some of the searching. Let's go. Let us go. I think we're a bit of an underdog here, though. We don't have much that's going to interact with our opponent's activated abilities. And since we don't have that, we have to counter the key pieces here and get them to the graveyard to Surgical away, or be so far ahead that we can start pressuring with, say, Snapcaster Bolts and Helixes. The Teferi seemed to give them a bit of a problem, and they really didn't like that. It'd be nice to have a third small Teferi over this large one. Let's see. Game 2 up next. right. Of course I'd like to play first. Let's go. We'll keep. We have an Ashiok here. We have a Spell Snare. We have an Opt. It's probably getting a Steam Vents. Steam Vents. Maybe get the Ashiok down on turn 3 after Spell Snaring a 2-drop here. Doesn't seem bad. Does not seem bad. Let's give it our best shot here. So Floodstrand. We'll just shock in the Steam Vents here. Scare him a little bit. And go ahead, opponent. Go ahead. There we go. All right. Opt here. It's kind of awkward to put this at the bottom, but we'll probably get another fetch land. Needing to find our lands. And I'm glad I bought them. Two non-lands off the top here. Luckily, I guess I have a Spell Snare. Maybe they have a 2-drop. That's not a 2-drop. That's a Utopia Sprawl. Makes more white here. All right. I don't think I flash in a Snapcaster. We miss our land here, even after an opt bottom draw. Not good for us. Not good. Especially if I have a collected company here. It's going to be Heliod. Nope. It's going to be Ranger. See, we'd have the Ashiok down as well, preventing this Ranger. Maybe I Snapcaster, and if I failed Path, the Snapcaster was an option, but we're not getting that third land anyway. Seems a little aggressive from us since that's our only real removal spell. We're playing very well around our Spell Snare. There's an Arbor Elf. Okay. Could be just dead here. There's another path. There's another path. Uh-oh. I'll get rid of Jace. We're not casting you. They got a lot of mana here. They can sacrifice Ranger here, put Heliod down. Can do all kinds of things. Tax for 3. No block. They don't know. They might think I have Remand or Mana Leak here. The beauty of playing some islands. 4 mana. 5 mana. Archangel Thune. Oh my gosh. Well, I have to path that. I have to path that. That could get dangerous with just a Spike Feeder. Tons of mana. Spell Snare looks funny here. Spell Snare looking much better here. Got him! We got him! We did it. We did it. Look at that. Remand. Where are the lands? Where are the lands? Man, they really don't want to sacrifice this, do they? I'll remand this. Get out of here. Easy. Veil? Yeah. Yeah, that's that Veil. That's that Veil. There's a Helix. Still not a land. Where are the lands? 4 mana here. What are they going to do with 4 mana? Honestly, I cannot beat infinite mana. We'll give it to our opponent. They've got us here. Let's find out where that next land was. Where was that next land? Oh. There it is. Opponent makes infinite life here. And again, we're not beating infinite life. Respecting both of our times. We'll concede it to them. There's the lands. You need lands to win the game. Let's go to match number 4. Match 4 is upon us. We stumbled to the combo list, and honestly, we don't have enough maybe counters at the lower end here, and maybe that's Jeskai's flaw. Bolts and Helixes only do so much, and when they play that enchantment, not having something like a Mana Leak or another Remand to get us to Archmage Charm to actually get rid of the card is difficult. Whew. Oh well. Match 4 here. Let's find our opponent. Let's try to avoid some combo here. Let's get a good mid-range list, shall we? Let's find our next opponent. And there we go. Match is found. Let's go. I think that last one was the first time we were on the play as well. All right. I'm happy to see lands. Let's go ahead and keep. Snapcaster's kind of nice. We'll see how valuable this spell snare is. Wooded Foothills here. Okay. We'll lead with our Scalding Tarn, I think. Force of Negation's not a bad pickup here either. Go ahead, opponent. Let's see a Renin 6. Let's see that good mid-range. Wooded Foothills is a good indicator of potentially mid-range. Overgrown Tomb looks fantastic. Let's go one time. Renin 6. I will spell snare that. I'll still spell snare this. Spell snare is only going to be as good as finding 2 drops. Definitely want to use it on the first one that we find. Double path here. Definitely could have used those to get rid of the Tarmogoyf, but that ramps my opponent. Right now I do have at least Force of Negation with the Snapcaster Mage for, say, Liliana, Renin 6, or other nasty non-creature spells. Would like to do Snapcaster into like Path or Spell Snare anyway, but we may not get that lucky here. I will go ahead and get rid of Lily, though. Lily could be a little bit of a problem for us going forward. Don't want to deal with that. Let's go ahead and get a Hallowed Fountain. Working our way up with our blue mana. Opt isn't a bad one to find here. We'll just pass the turn, you know. Doing that blue mage thing. Draw. Go. Draw. Go. Incoming Bloodbraid Elf. I did ask for mid-range. This is what I got. Oh. Let's opt here. You can take Jace. You can take Jace if you'd like. I think they take Jace. Why do I think they take Jace? I don't know. No idea why. It would be funny if they have double bolts here and then they don't care about this and take a path. But there goes Jace. I have a feeling they take that opt as well. Maybe I'm not supposed to do the opt in response to the Thoughtseize, especially now seeing the Jace. Just let them take that and just take whatever's randomly off the top. It's a little awkward if it's like a land, though, because then I don't want the land. Bottom the land, find another land, then that's when you would want to opt. Can't read what's on the top of the library. That being said, if all they have is creatures left, or bolts, it's not like much is going to happen this game for the next couple of draws. Drawing the game out longer is better for us. Burning Catacombs for our opponent, going down to 13. Does shock this in. Maybe it's a Liliana. If it's Liliana, I have to get rid of a path here. K command making us discard. I'm going to discard the planes because they ended up picking up a Tarmogoyf. That's why they can't discard one of these. Got a remand here. Nothing crazy happening just yet. Remanding a spell here. Drawing a new card's not a bad thing either. More action spells here for that Tarmogoyf, considering the Tarmogoyf will be rather large due to the Jace being in the graveyard. Cycles a Forgotten Cave. I do like the one of Forgotten Caves sometimes in Jund. This is now a remand possible target. Let's go ahead and remand the Inquisition away. This at least gives me a draw. I'm going to Inquisition and then I'm just going to path you. Go ahead. Which one would you like? They don't take the odd art one. How rude. Croxa here. Let's go ahead and do this so they don't get it back immediately here. I know that they have got a Tarmogoyf, but at least the Crox is not coming back from the graveyard. We lose our path, and now we're just in top deck mode against Jund. Not a great spot to be in. Although Jace not a bad thing. We could bounce a Tarmogoyf. We do need to find that extra land. There's Tarmogoyf. No discard, that's good. Land? That's awkward. Go ahead, opponent. At least I can take care of a Liliana if they play that. Tarmogoyf going to attack for 4 here. Opponent's got 2 cards in hand. Building up cards is never good for us, considering I need to be interacting with them. Land? Well, we'll go ahead and opt here. Try to find that land. Oh, alright. We'll go ahead and put this on top because this is a Snapcaster potentially path here on the Tarmogoyf, which is a way to get rid of it. It's not a great way to get rid of it. I have a feeling my opponent has something like Fatal Push at this point, based on how they're playing. So anything that gets rid of Tarmogoyf looks good, which is this Snapcaster. Oh. Just draw the 4th path, right? Just hanging out with my buddy Tarmogoyf over there. Nothing to see. Let's go ahead and path this away. We use a path in hand here because I can then force a negation pitching Snapcaster and have Jace. It's the small things. Having trouble with lands once again here. I'd love to be able to Snapcaster and opt, but it's just not happening. Inquisition here. I take my force. Just snap in here. Forcing and losing snap versus just doing this. I don't get to do the opt, unfortunately. They can't take the Jace, so force goes away. Do they have a Fatal Push? Bolt? Fatal Push it is. 2 cards. Alright, I'll play Narset and at least find another spell to play, right? Looking for cards. Teferi and 3 lands. Great, I have a 5-drop now. Need to avoid like Bloodbraid Elf here. Need to avoid a couple bolts to my face as well. Where's that 4th land? Narset doesn't help me find lands. Bolts, Narset, not me. Alright. Bloodbraid Elf? Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay. Okay. Land. Yeah, we did it. Alright, I'm going to go find a basic here. And then definitely Jace. I kind of want to just 0 here to draw another card, honestly. If they bolt, that's fine. Land. There's all of our lands. They're nice and late to the party here. Nice and late to the party. I can go to 6 here by fetching. I can just see them bolting me. Luckily, I can Teferi Tuck, maybe Seasoned Pyromancer. I don't know if that's what we want to be doing, though. Bloodstained Mire just fetches, gets basic here. 2 unknowns and then another draw. 3 unknowns. Not interacting with bolts. So Jace is fine. It would have been awkward to bounce this Seasoned Pyromancer. K-Command. We discard a card. We'll get rid of the field here. It was 2 damage to Jace. They're just going to attack Jace here? All right, I have a fetch land off the top here, so I get to use the fetch land as the next card. I wonder if I'm supposed to put this, like, tuck it. Let's go ahead and tuck it. Let's tuck it. They redraw it at some point here. We're just trying to buy ourselves time since we're at 7. Plays a land here. They probably just have creature removal. This is a fetch land. I think I'm just going to draw. I don't know what's underneath the fetch land. Sacred Foundry. Tap, go. This card should not be Seasoned Pyromancer, but the next one should be. So we have 2 more draws here to find something. Maybe they have like just, I don't know, Liliana? Can't believe I'm asking for such a card. Lands are no good here. I'm going to fetch and hope they don't have double bolt. Just trying to thin out what we have. Ugh, come on. I suppose once you've run into so many lands, you're eventually going to find just non-lands. Inquisition's really smart here. Now they get to play the Seasoned Pyromancer into a clear, no problem area here. We'll see what they end up having. Helix wouldn't be a bad find here. Abrupt Decay, Fatal Push didn't do it. Tarmogoyf. Things are starting to look super sketchy here. Top is a surgical, not what I want. I need to go looking, I think. Draw. Okay. 5, 6, 7, and then I kill something. I have to kill what looks to be Seasoned Pyromancer. If they don't go after Teferi, we're in great shape. I don't think they should. I think they should go after me and try to end it. But they might send Goyf at Tarmogoyf here. Or Goyf at Teferi. I'm going to go ahead and Helix. The problem is that this makes tokens, but this gets me up to 9, and 7 is much different here than dying. I am at 2. Bolts kill me. K-commands kill me. Maelstrom Pulse gets rid of Teferi's. Colonnade doesn't get us there. There's all our lands. All right, Jund. Can we beat Jund? I think we can. I think we can. Purges, Celestial Purge in. Let's see here. Supreme Verdict seems decent. Aether Gust isn't too bad here. Rest in Peace might be worthwhile because we did see Kroxa as well, and Timely is an option. What do we not want? Surgical seems cute. I don't think I'm going to need that. Let's think here. I think I could take like a couple bolts out. Purges are just better. Supreme Verdict's better. Like there's the first 3. Force of Negation seems fine. My Planeswalkers seem fine. My opponent had Abrupt Decay, Maelstrom Pulse type of cards. I kind of just want to take the other bolt out here and then bring in like a Rest in Peace to make Tarmogoyf just not a threat. And the Kroxa as well. Maybe just a 1-of. We have some spell snares to deal with some of those bad cards as well. Aether Gust, Timely. Maybe Timely is not worth it here. Seasoned Pyromancer is a bit of an annoyance. That would be worth some of my bolts. I think this will work. I think this will work. We'll do the 1-of Rest in Peace. The Supreme Verdict to close things out. Celestial Purge hits a lot of their cards. Tarmogoyf gets hit by the Rest in Peace as well. It makes Snapcaster slightly worse, but we'll just go from there. Pretty decent opening hand. I can actually use a Force of Negation pitching Jace to stop an Inquisition or Thoughtseize here. Then I have the Spell Snare for the 2-drop. Let's go get that Hallowed Fountain here. Teferi's not a bad pickup here. Helps tempo them. Bolts are obviously a thing my opponent could have. Abrupt Decays and stuff like that too. Let's go ahead and get a Steam Vents here. There's the Rest in Peace. How about we do that? How about we do that? Kind of want to play the Teferi. Let's go ahead and do the Teferi and just draw a card here before my opponent can bolt this. We're drawing a card in case they get like Liliana, and we're looking for that land that we need for Jace. We do hit the land. Spell Snare may be the thing I pitch here. Good Inquisition Thoughtseize me here. Or 1-of Rest in Peace. Uh-oh, my opponent's lost connection. I hope they come back quickly. We'll be waiting. We'll be waiting. Ah, they rejoined immediately. All right, we didn't wait that long. Just a little hiccup there. A little hiccup. Maybe. Reloading Magic Online can take a little bit of time. List is pretty sweet so far. They do bolt this. Didn't have a counter spell or anything for that. All right. Let's I think I just do Jace here and uptick. Uptick, maybe keep them off their lands here. Especially green lands. Put that on the bottom. You can have something other than green lands. Maelstrom Pulse and Abrupt Decay scare me. Yeah, look at that. We did it. We did it. All right, let's keep going up here. Let's do the up things. You can have that card. Have at. It's Narset here. Force would be great here. Oh, take a Cryptic Command. Oh, Bolt's Narset. It's a Bolt not going to Jace. Maelstrom Pulse to hand. Can't use that, and they're not finding their extra lands here. We're going to continue our upticks here with the Jace. Up we go. What's next? You may have that. Go ahead. I gotta leave myself with a Cryptic Command here. Just defend Jace. We're getting there. We're getting there. Upticks with Jace. Gets us there. Nice. Who needs to brainstorm? Overrated. Alright. Well, that worked because they didn't have the green mana. We'll see if it happens again. See if it happens again. It was good to get it out of bolt range there, too. Ooh, alright. This may be a mulligan. We do have a draw. We have a draw. Narset helps us really dig for those Supreme Verdicts. And this is another 2-lander, though. We know what happened last time. I'm going to keep it because I have 2 Narsets and I have a draw before I even play and a draw and a draw. So I have 3 draws here to find my next land. I'm feeling lucky about it. Feeling lucky. Raging Ravine. Land. There we go. All right. It's not the greatest land, but it is a land. Steam Vents looks like what I'm going to have to pick up because of the Helix. Raging Ravine's an interesting one to start with, although that gives them their green. Here's a Blackcleave Cliffs here, and Tarmogoyf. So it looks like I'm actually going to go ahead and Helix a Tarmogoyf. That's pretty good. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's an X3 when this hits. And even if they had the Surgical, they have to... Oh... There's nothing they can do about that, so. Bam. All right, turn 3. At least I've got Teferi as an option here. See what else they've got going on. Teferi will be used to bounce a Tarmogoyf to tempo them out if they play that. If I have Kroxa here, I probably just ditch a Narset here since it's a redundant card. Liliana? If I hit a blue land, I'll play Narset, seeking out, hopefully, something to interact with this. Although, they ditched 2 lands. Interesting. I don't really want to bounce this. Let's do field, and I'm planning to... And maybe I should just do it now. So they can't. No, I should be good. We'll wait. Just gonna hit that Raging Ravine here. Here comes a Bloodbraid Elf. Bloodbraid Elf. Finds a K command. Picks up the Tarmogoyf. Make me discard. I'll probably discard Teferi at this point. Even though that's gonna grow. I want to be able to use Narset here to find like a Supreme Verdict. We take 5. We need more blue. My opponent's going to have to get green here. And they do. We can play Colonnade down. A little risky if I were to find a Bolt, but I don't think that's what I want with this Narset. I want that Supreme Verdict. Force a Negation, Opt, or Teferi. Let's pick up the Opt instead of the Teferi because they might attack here, and then I can play Narset plus use Opt. I can also begin starting to do Cryptic tap downs. We really want to be digging as far as we can here to find that Supreme Verdict. This would be the chance for them to go ahead and get that Tarmogoyf down, but they might keep it in hand here in fear of that Verdict. We'll see. We'll see. Renin 6 is a good one here. They just pick up the Rage and Ravine and put it back into play tapped. That plays well around our potential Supreme Verdict. They end up getting Verdant Catacombs instead, so they have a 3-drop they want, or they need the extra green now to play Tarmogoyf. Hits Narset, hits me. Plays Tarmogoyf. Alright. I can use Narset to dig, or I can use Jace to dig. Let's use Jace to dig. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0 here. Path is not bad. So land. Use the fetch here. And then we can path the Tarmogoyf. Path the Tarmogoyf, they'll send something at probably Jace, just buys us a little bit more time. Need to somehow get to that Supreme Verdict. That or we need a bunch more paths or helixes. I did take some bolts out. Some bolts out. All 3 bolts. Opponent begins the combat steps here. 3 at Jace, more at Jace. Alright, so we're going to get a Sacred Foundry here. Let's go ahead and path the Tarmogoyf. It's the scariest thing going forward. They get an extra land. They kill Jace here. They do 2 to us, 10 to 15. Nurturing Peatland, super good for them. They can use this to draw. Plus Renin 6, that's going to be their draw engine. Not much we can do to shut this off. Purge wouldn't be a bad draw. Another Tarmogoyf from our opponent. There's a Snapcaster. Let's pass the turn. We have Snapcaster plus Path. If they have Veil, this could end real badly, though. We'll Snapcaster get in front of Bloodbraid, hopefully, path the Tarmogoyf, and then we can opt at end step. So Snapcaster on path. I'm giving all the lands I need. Let's go ahead and path. Tarmogoyf. Leaving double blue up for double opt. Path goes off here. Snapcaster is blocking. It's kind of interesting. What do we have, like? A little surprised they didn't get rid of the Snapcaster and get in for the 3. Peatland for redraw. Uses this to redraw. Up with the Renin 6. Liliana. Please. Stop. I'm going to get rid of a Narset here. Narset digs, but so do these ops. And I need to use my mana, I think, the most efficiently here. I could have countered the Liliana if I used the ops first. Let's find a land here, and then I could Colonnade. Let's colonnade, I suppose. See if we can take down here. This will answer if they have like Fatal Push or something. We'll go ahead and attack Liliana. This leaves me with only Path open. Okay. Path can take care of Seasoned Pyromancer though. What could they have? Just extra Lilianas? Is that what they have? Alright. Lightning Bolt off of Blood Braid puts me to 4. I can Path Blood Braid here. Renton and 6 can ping me for 1. This isn't good. This isn't good. I need to gain life. Need to use my Helix. Don't have double Ren and 6 here. Ping ping. Oh, don't do it to me. I have this Helix. So that's what they had. Double ping here. I got my mid-range one and my opponent ends up beating us. This is probably down to just not having a lot of experience with the control. We gave it our best shot here. I leaned a little harder on the Supreme Verdict, probably because I'm used to having a few more Wrath type effects versus the Snap, Bolt, Snap kind of stuff. Well, we held our own though. You kill this, they end up doing whatever. Run in 6 plus the Peat Land would be another reason to bring that second Rest in Peace in. 2-2 though. Grudge match. Final match. 5th match. Next. 5th and final match here, playing the Jeskai control, and it is for sure a control list indeed. Having to know when to switch from that aggro Snapcaster Bolt Helix kind of plan and the more counter Jace Fairy plan is proving to be a bit of a challenge. I think, as I've said a few times now, and I know I am reiterating myself, but I'd like something different than Boyle. At this point, in my last matchup against mid-range or something a little bit wider, I wouldn't mind some Angers or Wrath of God or Supreme Verdict number 2. And having just something that removes a wider board versus our spot removal plan seems reasonable. That being said, match number 5 here. Final match. Let's see if we can win 3-2 overall. That would be a good way to end it. Let's play first. Ooh, we will mulligan this one. 1 landers are probably not going to get us there, and we have the Teferi. Hey, look, Teferi's back, but we have 1,000,000 lands. We'll keep this. We'll send back. I guess I can just send back a fetch land. Go ahead. Hallowed Fountain's the plan here. Obviously, that leaves Lightning Bolt not being used. Looks like it'll be okay, though. Blue versus blue, potentially, here. Helix. Go ahead, opponent. My first play may be this Teferi. I'll opt. So it's going to be a control mirror here. What kind of control mirror, though? We'll find out. Prismatic Vista. Let's keep using our fetch lands before we get to exposing a Field of Ruin. After all, my opponent doesn't have a non-basic currently. There we go. Colonnade versus colonnade, huh? We might entertain that idea of that Boyle this time. Force isn't a bad thing, and I've got this nice Field of Ruin to get rid of the colonnade. We'll just keep on trucking here. There's a flooded strand from them. Let's go ahead and get rid of the colonnade. Floats mana, of course. More blue is probably not a bad idea. White might be good too because of Helix and Teferi, but we do have a Force of Negation here. Scalding Tarn, go ahead opponent. Back and forth we go. And if Shone plays a lot of control, this is where they're going to be immensely better than I am at knowing when we need to change pace here. That being said, my opponent does appear to be blue-white. And I think I'm going to try that Boyle, even if it costs us a game. It's time, I feel. They'll never see it coming, especially if I boil with force back up. Opponent's got their own Field of Ruin here. What are we going to do? We're going to have to switch to starting to bolt them at some point. Kind of saving these for things like potentially this. Let's go ahead and attempt a force here. And if they go to defending this, that's fine here. We'll try to use Helix and Lightning Bolt to get rid of the Teferi or play our own Teferi out. My opponent looks like they have a Logic Knot. They do. We can't pay for that. Teferi resolves. Going up. It does go up here. Gives me a window to attack it with our Teferi, which kind of is what I want to do here. I think I go for this. Like, slam Teferi and see if they have, just see if they have the counter. Has to be force and negation. They do have the force. So now I'm just going to go ahead and bolt here, and I'll plan to Helix it too. What'd they pitch with that force? Supreme Verdict. See, they have Supreme Verdict. Play a land here. They went up. I do have Helix to go after the Teferi. Narset's cute. Let's go ahead and try Narset first. I want them to counter. Prefer them to counter Narset and then me just to Helix the Teferi. I can't imagine they really want this resolving anyway, because this in itself is card advantage. I go after my Field of Ruin. Okay. Blue, blue. Yeah, let's just get another island. Okay, are we going to counter? We are not. Okay. Let's get a Helix here and just fire off the Helix. They didn't counter the Narset. Makes me think they didn't have another counter, and I am correct. A Mana Leak would have been nice to pick up there. Maybe I'm supposed to Helix and then use Narset, but if they had a counter like Cryptic Command, countering this and then bouncing Narset before using it would have been really awkward. We get to use Narset twice here, which is super nice. We'll take our bolts. We'll put Forced Glacial Fortress down. They don't know about the Helix. That's one good thing about how we did that. So it may look like we have some counter spells, and we're going to play the back and forth. The back and forth. New Narset. Try slamming that. Counter draw. They can't use Serum Visions on their turn, which is nice. Maybe they're just playing Ops only, though. Extra Field of Ruin. That's good for our Celestial Colonnades, though they're not aware of that yet. Snapcaster's a good pickup because I do have a Force Negation down here. Could also get aggressive here with the Bolt Helixes. I might go ahead and do that since they're going after some of my red lands here. Let's get another mountain here, and I'm going to go ahead and just send a Bolt. Send the Bolt! I think this is where we start to switch to that aggressive line here. I might just Helix here. Okay. Not ready for Snapcaster yet. There's another Helix. All right. We're turning on the burn. We're fetching again. This path is a little bit awkward. What's nice is if they do play, say, Jace or something like that, the Narset's going to prevent them from drawing extra cards here. There's a hero. They do bounce here. Let's go ahead and attempt to Helix hero. They counter this. I re-counter with my force. Or I could... That's fine. This bounces Snapcaster and then just like Helix this to gain some life. What if I snap Helix them? I think I want to still Helix the Teferi here in case they have a path. This way I can at least be sure the Teferi's gone so that card advantage isn't there. I can start attacking with Snapcaster. Cryptic's a great draw here. I could even counter and bounce the Snapcaster. We're at that territory where that might be our line. Timely reinforcements. Let's attempt to counter and bounce our own Snapcaster. Forces. Let's path so that they only get the life gain and not the creatures, because the creatures are kind of annoying for us. Now, we do lose that Narset there, which is fine by me at this point. I think we can come back from where we're at. Hold for falls, pass the turn. I'm more worried about the creatures because of how we have to win this game through Snapcaster. And maybe I'm supposed to just take the Narset. Tough to say, but here you go. Here's the Snapcaster, as planned. As planned, right? Snapcaster Force is looking pretty decent. A mana leak. Let's go ahead and play a card down, pass the turn. Both of us are refueling like the blue mages that we are. Ooh. Let's attempt a Snapcaster here to force this. Drawing cards is a no-no. It's not allowed. Maybe they'll Cryptic this, and then I can mana leak the Archmage Charm. It's a no-no. I can't let them get ahead of me like that. Now it's just as awkward if they have like mana leak, then I just pay for it. 2 mana. Snapcaster. Allow that to resolve here, because then I can mana leak the Cryptic command that they'll use here. I don't have my own Cryptic command, which would be real good. I wonder if this turns into like a Rest in Peace matchup, because Rest in Peace just shuts both of our Snapcasters off, and then I have the burn. We're thinking about the next game, possibly. We'll go ahead and mana leak the Cryptic command here, hoping Snapcaster resolves here. They'll have to have Force plus a blue card, which doesn't look like they have that. At this point, I still think I probably could Force, but it might be actually better for me to mana leak now, because a future Force is a little stronger than mana leak. Mana leak getting the best value here. And now we both have Snapcasters. Both have Snapcasters. Yay. Field of Ruin, another one for our Colonnade friends. 2 mana here. Fields are Steam Vents. Get a Plains. They're just trying to see how many basics I have. They should really not be doing this because I have Colonnades, but they don't know that. Paths. Okay, we ran out. You found the limit. You found the limit. We're at 26, 13 turn clock. 31 cards in our library, 29 in our opponent's. Top of the library is a Force. All right. We have at least the counter for their counter. Now we need to find Jace, Teferi, Narset, Snapcaster, Colonnade. Uh-oh. We have the double Force. I need them to play lands. I need them to not hold on to all these great cards they have in their hand. We're down to 20. Ah, land has been played. Excellent. Spell. I'll take Teferi. Teferi makes the game interesting from here on out. I don't think I'm bouncing Snapcaster, though. They might just let this resolve. Be like, alright, you can draw a card. And I think I'm going to have to just draw a card here. I know we lose the Teferi, but I don't think I'm too worried about losing the Teferi here. I just need to draw an extra card, catch up to our opponent. If I go up here, they just attack Teferi. Maybe that makes it better for my forces, but I already have 2 forces and they only have 3 cards in their hand. And depending on what style of counter magic they have, it just may not be very good. Here's an opt, I let that go. Spell. Alright. Jace it is. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We can double force. See what they got. That's a good sign. Let's brainstorm. This is a brainstorm match. I'm gonna keep force, and remand here. Just seems the strongest here. I know that they're fetch lands off the top. Oh. 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 No. Go ahead and remand this. Vendilion Click. Now they just replay it here. Okay, they maybe get rid of the forest, which is then another... If I would have kept a Flooded Strand down and played that, at least I'd have new cards to get into. I know it's another fetch land underneath this. They just leave us with it all. They're like, that's fine. That's good. You can have those. Uh-oh. 5 damage here. They send both here, even though they know my entire hand. A little bit of a waste. Go ahead, opponent. 5 a turn. It's a 4-turn clock now. 4-turn clock, and we have 3 to 4 cards in their hand they care about. 3 because of Flooded Strand. I think I'm gonna go ahead and fetch. I think I have still like a Sacred Foundry. Oh no, it's already been used. So what do I have here? I have a Bolt. I've got a couple Snapcasters. I've got Jace, Narset, and Teferi. So I have things that can get us out of this, but they're slim. Start with an opt. Put that on top. Okay. That is a thing we can do. Snap Helix, Force. I'm gonna do this at their upkeep. Snap Helix. Snap Bolt, Force. Guess we can snap Bolt here, and then we can Force, and they have 3 cards. This way we can get rid of the flyer. They know there's 2 forces here. So do they fight over this? They fight over it. They've got, what, 3 counters? So, path. I'm going to force the path here. Snapcaster blocking Snapcaster buys us some time. I don't think they have enough here. Maybe they have a bunch of paths here. Bolt resolves, they draw a card. Okay. We're blocking. We're blocking. Yeah. We're blocking because I have Colonnade somewhere. Okay. Top of the library is... Spell Snare. Well, it gets a Snapcaster when they try to do that again. Go ahead. We have less cards. This is getting a little bit sketchy. A little bit. How many paths are we through here? One from them? Two? Not many Teferis. I guess people in the blue categories don't do that very much. All right, there's a Snapcaster. Gives us something to do here. We're on turn 23. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are we doing? 7 mana. Mega Shark? Oh, it's a Mega Shark. I'm gonna path the Mega Shark. I think I do it now. Because they're gonna draw a card here and then untap. And if they have Force, I can get that. And if they have a weird, like, 2 mana, I can get that as well. Like, maybe they have Snap Force or something. So we're gonna go grab this path. Because Flying Shark is Danger NATO. Not good. Get out of here. No shark. Go away. Yes. Okay, we clear the shark. Feel good about that. Shark draws a card. Now it's their turn. And we have an active Snapcaster. Are they going to path this? I have to let it go if they do. Oh, don't be Teferi. Uh-huh. Well, Force gets bad if this resolves, so counter. That's 4 mana. Counter draw. Okay, I have an active Snapcaster. You have a Teferi you're going up with, or bouncing Snapcaster, or bouncing nothing. Now my counter magic's terrible. They just go up here. I guess I attack them now. It's opt. Bottom the fetch land. Let's opt. Come on, list. Oh. I could attempt to surgical the shark. That can't be a winning line, right? Bottom. Oh, spell snare is like worse but not worse. Okay, attack for 2, pass turn here. Opponent's got 4 cards plus maybe the draw with Teferi here as well. We can work at their end step using 4 Supreme Verdicts at instant speed because of Teferi. So if I would have attacked Teferi, it would have been bad anyway. Teferi continues to go up here so they can play at the speed. They have a Jace. We have 16 cards here. They do Brainstorm. There is the possibility they deck themselves here. Field of Ruin is a Stone Rain if they want it to be. Could play Narset. This prevents Jace. We're going to probably counter this. Fetching. They're out of basics. Ha! Counter draw, pass turn. Okay. So Narset would have been good against the Jace. You have 15 cards to my 15. How many Snapcasters have we seen? We've only seen 1 Shark. There's an Opt. I have a feeling we're just going to die to a big Shark here in 2 swings when they find it. We'll hope it's the last card they have in the entire library. It's Fairy going up. Jace doing its Brainstorm thing. Got 2 counter spells that are duds. Got a path that's... It's a dud because they'll make a shark at end step, but I could attempt to do this on their turn. This assumes they have no counter spell in their 6 cards they'll have. 7 after Jace. Makes a 9/9. That'll kill us quickly. That'll kill us quickly. Nothing I can do here because of Teferi. Jace doing the Jace things. Down to 7 cards here. The one thing that's positive here is my opponent has only 11 minutes on their clock. We have 17. I play Magic fast. I don't know if it's good. We attempt a path, they do their thing, we'll go ahead and let them attack us. And that'll do it. For game 1 here. Oh boy. Huh. Alright, so how do we attack this? I think the graveyard's better for us. I don't think we want to do a rest in peace. You know we want to try this, so we're going to go ahead and give it its best shot here. Dispels, Mystical Disputes. Ashiok could be kind of fun. Boils. The Supreme Verdict is a maybe. So I want to get these 7 in. Looking at what we have, I think the scary thing is the shark could get us. I'm going to do surgicals out and then like paths. This opens us up to the potential of the shark, but we're bringing in boils. And I think if we can stay low to the ground, we'll be okay. You can make an argument Spell Snare maybe isn't very good either, and that would give us our 7. And this is including the 2 boils. If I wanted to, maybe I bring 1 Supreme Verdict in and can trim perhaps maybe a Helix. A little less on the attack here, but we're going for that boil plan. Why not? Maybe we'll boil them and really mess up game 2 for them, and they'll have no time to beat us in game 3. Let's go. All right. What can I do here? I'm going to keep... We still can boil some of our stuff, but we've got this nice force. We've got an opt I want to be using. Looking okay here. We can also get Sacred Foundry. Oh, look at that. That doesn't die to, it doesn't, it's garbage. All right, let's get the Steam Vents. Opt. Bottom the island. Dispel. All right, extra bolt here. Go ahead, opponent. I wonder if I really play into this much or if I make sure I can cast Cryptic. I kind of want to make sure I can cast Cryptic, and then we'll just all ride into the sunset here without our islands. I mean, Teferi's pretty good here with backup of Force of Negation later. They do Mystical Dispute us. Maybe I could have waited. I just wanted to jam. Get it done. If they try to Teferi back, we get to force them. No such luck. Huh. What a card. What an interesting card we have here. Boyle hits both of us for 2, but they end up with the blue-white land afterwards. I end up with just a white land. We need that extra island. I did bottom an island. Surgicals are Teferi. I don't want them to see this. I think I dispel here and I force them. And I'm going to hide this boil. This is the wrong line, but this is what we're doing. Oh, it's my turn. Oh, it's my turn. All right. Well, we got an Archmage Charm out. They get to see. They get to see the boil. Don't judge. Don't judge. Opponent's all just like, no, you're not doing this to me. And be like, yeah, I am. I'm gonna hit that land. You're gonna get boiled. Look at all these red cards that I've got. Fetchland Sacred Foundry would be like the best way to do the boil. Then I'd at least have some red mana. Now they don't know what to do. Do they put that Hallowed Fountain in? Yeah, exactly. It's a question mark. Making them question everything here. Let's bolt. Boom. Get bolted. Land. Oh, Snapcaster. Perfect. We can snap Dispel, snap Op, snap Lightning Bolt. Looking pretty nice. Flooded Strand here, that's obviously gonna go get... Obviously, this is gonna go get the plains. We're gonna go ahead and opt here to see if I can hit another land. That would be ideal. All right, I'll take an island. It's not what I wanted, but I'll take it. Now I'm threatening Boyle. Why is this the thing I'm threatening? I don't know. Go ahead, opponent. What are you going to get with that Flooded Strand? Basic Plains? Why would you ever do that? Oh, they hit another Basic Plains. It's brutal. I'm going to go ahead and bolt. Just do the damage upstairs. They're so scared of the Boyle. Attacking for 2. Let's see if they boot up Colonnade here. Booting up Colonnade here, I think I actually go ahead and bolt and trade this off. Because then that gets rid of a land that Boyle's not getting rid of. I can keep my force open here. This looks okay. They're at 9. Field of Ruin. That could help me. That could help me. Oh, Colonnade. Let's go ahead and play the Colonnade. That obviously gives them a target for the Field of Ruin, but that's okay with us. We're going to go get a Plains if they do that, or Mountain. Let's get that Mountain. Let's get that Mountain. They got an extra island here. Is it time to Boyle them? I need them to like tap out a little bit for me. There's a Flooded Strand. Maybe it's not. It's not time. I don't feel it yet. We need the second Boyle. Ooh, Ashiok's cute. Let's wait. We have plenty of time. We're up about 7 minutes on them. Flooded Strand here, another Plains, another island. Oh, oh, oh. Do I just go for this? What happens if I do this? I Boyle. I lose these 3, I get these 2. I'm gonna go for it. I'm going for it. Boom! Oh my gosh, everything's gone. All right, we need 2 islands quick here. It is a 5/5. A path will do it as well. Let's go. No, they have a glacial fortress. What's the Boyle for? Hoodwinked. Path. Ugh. Helix keeps me alive, but doesn't kill Shark. I guess I send this upstairs. Oh my gosh, they have so many more lands than I do. This is awful. In for 5. I'm down to 6. End step. Helix you. Maybe I can just hit 3 running Helixes and just win with that. I have the force to defend this. Force pitch Ashiok here. Oh gosh. Everything's double and triple blue here. Down to 5. Helix. Sulfur Falls. I need 1 more. If I can get 1 more blue, I can bounce the shark. The shark can attack me. Down to 4. Helix or a blue land, please. 1 time and no counter from my opponent. It's blue, but it doesn't come into play untapped. Good game, opponent. Good game. It was fun to throw out a Boyle and see what it would do against blue versus blue. Hoodwink, when you do see this, leave me a comment. What is the Boyle for? I need to know. Maybe it's for Dryad Amulet. Opponent kills us. We go 2-3 overall with the list. Running into a bit of the control mirror at the end. We'll have our thoughts here in the conclusion. coming up next. 2-3 overall. A question of, is an older Jeskai list worth it in this meta? Perhaps. Perhaps. Let's take a look at what we've got here. This was the list we were running, 25 lands, which ended up not being enough sometimes, and then others we flooded out. That happens sometimes. Hopefully you can use your ops for that. Overall, the list is really great. In an experienced person's hands, I'm sure you would find the times where you need to do snap, bolt, helix, and that combination of things to close the door versus leaning heavily on your planeswalkers such as Teferi, Jace, Narsets, and so on and so forth. Where does the list lack? To me, it does need updating a little bit. The meta is super wide, as we like to talk about, but I do think there are some things that maybe shouldn't be in here and that should be in updates that the sideboard needs. Firstly, although I like a surgical extraction main board, I think this could very well just be an extra remand or mana leak, and that way you have a little more of that counter magic at the lower ends here. You could even probably get an Archmage Charm in place of maybe one of these Narsets, keeping in mind that an Archmage Charm is super nice where you get to either counter, draw 2, or you can steal something small, like a Bird of Paradise, and ramp yourself. Anyway. So we have that I think is a possibility. I think if you're playing the big Teferi, it's always nice to have 2 of the big Teferi. Jace is obviously decent, and Cryptic Command and Archmage Charm balance each other out. Sideboard-wise, I don't think you want these boils. If you're worried about Amulet, I don't think you need to be worried about it so much. Obviously, there's Veil out there, but I just don't see where the boils happen. You're not a blue, red, is it through the breach list that's like boil proof? If you want to be boil proof, you need to update your land base a little bit more. Fetch lands are going to be fine, but keep in mind that your fetch lands are mainly getting your islands for the most part. So Cleansing Wildfire would be fine here. I could even see like a Pillage if you wanted a little bit of artifact removal. The double red would be difficult. I could see Anger the Gods as well, as we talked about a little bit earlier in the league, along with Supreme Verdict, just to have something that can board wipe. You do have bolts, helixes, and paths, and after playing it a few times here, you may only need 1 extra Verdict type effect. Rest in Peace looks good here, and I think you want to keep that. Mystical Dispute was excellent, so definitely want that as well. Your tough matchups, mid-range was obviously a little bit tough for me as an inexperienced control player. That one could be difficult depending on kind of this mishmash of a little bit of the sideboard, though a lot of mid-ranges for that purge, so that should be fine. I think it really just comes down to you have 2 boils that aren't really doing a lot, and then you have kind of like this timely reinforcements, which is nice, but you have 3 helixes and a bunch of removal spells. Maybe the timely can come out. Maybe the Ashiok really could come out here, although Ashiok's super nice for the searching as well. Overall, it's a sweet list. I think there's just a small fine-tune of stuff. If you're not running into certain opponents, you can swap out those sideboard cards and bring in something a little more versatile with your like Cleansing Wildfires and things like that. That would let you draw and would be good against, for example, Tron, which we didn't run into, but we are seeing occasionally. Hoodwinked Sam, thank you so much for the donation. The Buy a League, as we like to call it, donations, what a lot of people are familiar with. If you're interested, consider checking out our description below for that. And if you're interested in finding us live sometime, come check out our stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at about 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, or Daylight Time, whatever time it is now. Until next time, everyone, take care, have a good one, and we'll see you in the next matches. Jeskai Control. What a list.